I share in the pain of the entire country. I share in the pain of everybody who follows the Ghanaian sports. And at this moment, everybody has a right to speak or to share their pain. But at the same time, it's a moment that we need cool heads. When there's success, the team takes responsibility. When there's defeat, like we're defeated, the team takes responsibility.
Will you recommend the sack of Coach Milovan Rajovic? You made a strong case for him. You said this is not much like Makwe.
We just arrived, this is done. We've not engaged as an ESCO. We've not engaged key stakeholders. But it's important that we all have cool heads and then go through the process and take the right decisions for Ghana football. And we believe that we have the men to take that decisions or those decisions that will eventually bring Ghana back to the winning ways.
The minister summoned you to a meeting. What do you gauge would be the key issues on the table?
The minister of state responsible for sports wants the Black Stars to win. Me, the leader of the football family, I want the Black Stars to win. I want to be an African champion. So we would discuss, would engage on all fronts, and take decisions that will be in the best interest of our dear country. And I believe that we have the men to think through this, the men with the right levels of skill set to navigate the football industry from this land.
Do you regret, in hindsight, sacking CK Akuno?
I don't regret it. In terms of the players, these are the best intangible assets we have, believe me, available to the Tinkar team. Every player who made himself available and of the highest quality found his way into the 28-man squad.
Oh, that was President of the Ghana Football Association speaking with Johnny Hughes there. And as expected, it has generated a lot of conversations following the comments he made. I have in the studio with me the acting general manager of news and an A sports journalist with me in the studio, Michael Otieje. So grateful for your time with us on the bulletin. The comment from the president of the Football Association has been picked on by many. What do you make of that?
I kind of like candid interviews, and I thought he was candid. I thought he was pretty straight to the point. I thought he was unequivocal about what he thought had happened. Yeah, we can dispute from our various perspectives our version of our interpretation. But I like purely in terms of speaking to the issues, he didn't hold back. Whether it's gone down well with people, I think is another subject altogether. But I did think that he came out quite forcefully. He did say what he wanted to say, i.e. one that Milovan, he thinks, didn't get the necessary time to prepare the team. He also said that we would engage and take the best decisions. I would expect him to say that. He defended the quality of players that was taken to the Nations Cup. He's not short of apologizing for the poor performance. But I would expect in many ways that he would have been making that point. But I thought he came out quite forcefully in his defense of the way things went.
In his defense of Milovan Rajovic, let's ask you this again. So people are calling for the head of the coach. People are also calling for his head as well. But let's start off with Milovan's resignation or sack. Do you agree to the school of thought that he is a core of a problem?
I think he has to go. I've said it several times here. I think he contributed significantly to this. When Kurt speaks about the coach needing time and the rest, this was the same Milovan who told us before the Nations Cup that he likes being an underdog, that he loves the fact that everybody's underestimating the team. He never spoke about time when he was given the mandate to do well in the Nations Cup. We didn't bargain for, we knew time was an issue, but we didn't bargain for a national team that will record its worst ever showing in Nations Cup history, not just its worst in recent times. So for me, the time factor doesn't matter, and I've seen that a lot. Egypt appointed Carlos Queiroz 3 months before the tournament. Eguavoen may have acted as a technical advisor of the Nigeria Football Association, but he took full charge of the team only a few weeks to the tournament. So I'm not sure how much this. Plus, you can also make the realistic argument that then the time argument could have been made for different people. So I think he has to go. Do I think Kurt has to go? I don't think so. I think that there is a case to be made for building it, but he's got to take a look at the decision making in terms of coaches. Kwesi Appiah has gone, CK Akuno has gone, and from my understanding from the Ministry of from sources within the Ministry of Youth and Sports, there is a 9.9 out of 10 chance that Milovan Rajevac will go as well. That they will forcefully drive home the point that he has to go when they meet Okraku. The ministry will demand the sacking of Milovan Rajevac. As the paymasters, I think they will eventually get their way. But I think that it's inevitable that when you manage a football association that's appointed two coaches in the last year or so and it's not worked, it leads to questions about your own decision making.
The ministry is calling for a meeting between themselves and the president of the association, the leadership of the association. With your experience, what do you expect from the meeting? Okraku was saying that he expects them to have dialogue on the way forward of the team. But what do you anticipate could happen at the meeting? Yeah,
this is like saying, I expect to have lunch today. Well, they will have dialogue on the way forward. The nature of the dialogue is a big thing. As I mentioned earlier, I heard from very reliable sources that the ministry is unhappy. It's unhappy with the way the tournament went. They said as much in their strongly worded statement. I think the statement is a prelude to what's going to happen. I would expect their ministry to say, listen, we are unconvinced by the quality that Milovan Rajevac has shown. I think there will be questions asked about player selection and the rest, but that's not for the GFA to answer. Okay. It's for the GFA. I think there will be a demand to say, listen, this has not worked. We think there must be a change of direction.
In 5 weeks, the team is playing World Cup qualifiers. If the coach is sacked, as early as we anticipate he could be sacked, who are we bringing to replace him?
I think you will have to cross that bridge when you get there. This is a job that a lot of people like. It's a job that pays premium for international coaches. $30,000, $40,000. We paid Abraham Grant $50,000. Inevitably, there will be conversations about whether George Boateng, the former Dutch international who was at Aston Villa, could come in. There could be talk of Otoado and the rest. But I think most importantly, we need to cross the first bridge. I do agree with you that we had a lot of very good players at the Nations Cup. I'm not sure they were the best collection of our players, but we did have good players. It's also true when he says that there were players who didn't make themselves available. Mohamed Salisu didn't want to play the centre back at Southampton. Kamaldeen Sowa has been muted as a player for Ghana. The Club Brugge guy who made a lot of waves in the Champions League this year, he simply has not made himself available to play. So there were players who made themselves, who could have made this team better, who didn't make themselves available. But it's also true that we didn't pick some of the most important and best players as part of the decision making on match days. For instance, how do you have a player like Joseph Penso who has such a good game when he came on against Morocco, and all of a sudden they decide that he doesn't play again? Whatever tactics you speak about, it defies conventional wisdom, and I think those are the reasons that points to a change of direction, and also for me the reasons that things could get markedly better.
In anticipation of what could happen, would you go for, we can't escape that conversation, an expatriate coach or a local coach?
I have always said never ever use the passport to determine who is fit to coach your national team. It's the wrong approach. From every industry, we employ based on the best available talent. I am unconvinced that that best available talent must necessarily be a local coach.
So any of them could go?
Yes, please.
Right, thank you.